This is Cast of Wonders, a young adult fiction podcast featuring stories of the fantastic. Welcome. This is episode number 231, 22nd of January 2017. Hello everyone, my name is Sally Gill. I'm a piano teacher from Essex and an aspiring writer. I've been a slush reader for Cast of Wonders for 18 months. This involves reading some wonderful stories sent to us by a wide range of authors and helping to decide what we would love to hear on the podcast. My staff pick for 2017 is episode 225, Culinary Adventure, The 4 Stewpots by D.K. Thompson. It originally aired on Christmas Day 2016 and is narrated by Tina Connolly. The story is a Cast of Wonders 2016 original.
The 4 Stewpots by D.K. Thompson. Review: The 4 Stewpots by Darcy E. 14 friends, 27 reviews. 1 star out of 5. I've been coming to Uptown for the past year, since getting a new job and moving to Whittier, and somehow had never seen the 4 Stewpots before. I'm actually not a stew fan. I like my food fresh. Soup is okay, some days. Stew? Blah. It's been sitting for ages. This place actually suggests one pot they have is 1,000 years old. Bon appetit? But my daughter's first report card had come home from junior high. She'd done exceptionally well. She wants to be an astronaut, a monster makeup artist, a superhero, a cryptozoologist, or a cartographer of parallel universes. Whatever she decides to do, she'll be brilliant, and so as a reward I let her pick. She saw the 4 Stewpots as we were driving down the street, right next to Undercity Comics, and demanded we go there. Again, I do not like stew, but I am a supportive and proud mother who wants to encourage my daughter's academic achievements and realize that it's not always about me, at least until it's time to write the Yelp review. It is time to write the Yelp review. Sadly, this establishment did not change my opinion of stew in general, or give me hope for specific nouveau reinventions that managed to somehow subvert the stereotypical sludge. TLDR, it was a horrific, terrifying experience, and not just in the presentation of the food. It almost ruined my life, and certainly warped my daughter's. The 4 Stewpots is allegedly a themed restaurant where the hosts and servers all dress up. But I couldn't tell you what the theme was. Cosmic hodgepodge pub for cosplayers, maybe? The decor consisted of maps of places I didn't recognize. On the ceiling, an enormous X was painted by hand in red around a mixture of glow stars, planets, and layered maps that were torn apart and pasted together with the legend, "You are here." Wow. Thank you for not letting me forget 4 Stewpots, no matter how hard I might have tried. My daughter adored the costumes the staff wore, and asked them where they'd originated from. The hostess was covered in black leather from neck to toes, and had short spiked silver hair, black raccoon-like makeup around her eyes, and some kind of mechanized membrane-webbed wings that fluttered and looked completely organic. Our waiter wore an impressive mask with elephantine ears and a large snout. Rows of ridiculously jagged and yellow rubber teeth filled her mouth, and her pale, sleeveless arms looked like circuitry pumped through her veins. The bartender looked like a reject from a punk rock rendition of Oliver, with his Dickensian coat and trousers and purple mohawk. His shirt was unbuttoned halfway down his chest, and I could make out the trace of something like a giant spider horse tattooed there. He wore goggles on his forehead, and spent the entire time drinking and texting furiously on his phone while casually twisting an old wood and brass ship's wheel. They were polite, but had funny accents and dazed expressions. The menu attempts to be imaginative, what is lacking? There's a big explanation on the back as to why the options are limited. Warning, understatement. Because preparing stews for an unknown number of people is an impossibility, blah, blah, blah. The long and short of it are, you have 4 stew pot options. Stewmaster Sea Serpent Supreme, Dragon Scale Delight, the Great Nameless Stewing Evil, and Spicy Space Slug Sludge. Only one of them, the Great Nameless Evil, is vegetarian. 1. My daughter smiled and said, "See, Mom, they have stuff for you." No, sweetie. I didn't say then, but will punctuate now with all caps. N-O, no. A single option is really not any kind of option at all. It is a distinct lack of options. As a result, I ordered the evil, but only stirred the black sludge around once it arrived. I drank a glass of red, the vineyard under the mountain, never heard it before, mediocre, and ate the fresh, crusty bread, surprisingly warm, though a bit hard. My daughter, on the other hand, has always been an adventurous eater. Her bowl of sea serpent claimed to have wild leviathan meat, as well as okra, zucchini, tomatoes, basil, and garlic. Of course, when I asked what the meat really was, the server flicked her Dumbo-like ear and repeated, "Leviathan?" As if it were obvious. I persisted, and eventually asked for the manager, who was apparently on her lunch break. I would have made a bigger issue of it. Such customer service is appalling. But we were supposed to be celebrating my daughter, who mumbled an apology to the waitress, then got up from the table to look at all the maps that littered the walls. When the food arrived, thankfully it didn't take long, the menu explains why, it smelled like a mermaid had died in it centuries ago. My daughter, whom at this point I think reveled in my distress, wolfed it down and gave a loud belch. She urged me to get a takeout container for my evil. While she finished a second bowl, "You get free refills, apparently, just in case you haven't had enough." She excused herself to wipe off some stew she'd spilled on her t-shirt, belching all the way to the restroom. She hadn't been gone long enough to let the water warm when she dashed back out, whooping and shouting. I jumped to my feet, ready to discover and throttle whatever had frightened her, when I realized how different she looked. An odd tri-cornered hat sat crooked on her head. Her face was covered with grime, and she wore red-ribbed leather vest, boots, and had a plastic sword hilt, no blade, strapped to her hip. She clutched what looked suspiciously like a flintlock and waved it at the bathroom. I realized she must have found the treasure chest or toy box the restaurant kept for children. Yes, this restaurant gives children toy guns. I tried to rise above it. "Sweetie, you're a little old for toys, and you know we don't play with pretend weapons." "Mom, have you paid already? Hurry up!" Adolescence. I had not paid, and reached for my purse, when she slapped down a handful of odd marbles on the table and pushed me toward the door. Something roared from the bathroom. Large but cheap-looking plastic lobster claws and tentacles pushed open the door, and the restaurant lights flickered. Apparently, we had taken some interdimensional portal and ended up at the Rainforest Cafe, OMG. My daughter lifted the toy gun and pulled the trigger. It didn't make a noise, just flashed a little, but the claws and tentacles disappeared back into the bathroom with a whine, clearly on some kind of timer system. That was when my daughter's hat fell off, and I saw what was left of her long, curly hair, now lopped off at her shoulders. "Who, in the name of all that's holy, ruined your hair?" I demanded. "I will destroy them." "A pirate from Undertow," she said, and twirled her flintlock. "Not me." "Put that back this instant." She complied, throwing the flintlock at the bartender, still crouched over his phone, but managed to bat it down behind the countertop. Useless now anyway, she said, and pulled me out the door. I admit I let her keep the plastic sword hilt fastened to her hip. I didn't see what damage she could do without any blade. You can see why I don't plan on going back. Oddly, I've driven by a couple times to express my fury to the manager, but it seems like it's closed down. The sign is up, but the lights are off. Good riddance. 1 star, though I am severely tempted to find a way to rank it lower. That said, I must admit, despite all the trauma, my daughter can't stop talking about riding a giant sea turtle, fighting clockwork dragons, and pirate gorillas. Or gorillas. I can't figure out what movie this stems from, or what book she has been reading, but I suppose whatever was in her stew must have been good for her imagination. Her hair, of course, has not yet grown back. My box of evil remains safely in the refrigerator where I left it, continuing to sit and solidify for the next 1,000 years.
You were listening to The 4 Stewpots by D.K. Thompson. There were so many reasons why this story spoke to me, but the main one was that I love to cook and I love to eat. I can almost see myself in the role of the mother writing an indignant post on TripAdvisor on this bizarre restaurant that I just visited, although I probably would have ordered the Dragon Scale Delight. If there were recipes for the 4 stews, I would definitely try and recreate them at home, probably posting photos of my stews on the internet afterwards. Most of all, I love the idea that a restaurant isn't just somewhere that you go and eat. It could possibly be a life-changing experience, even if that life-changing moment turns out to be drifting into the world of piracy and swashbuckling. I just need to go to the supermarket now and see if I can get hold of some wild leviathan meat. Tastes a bit like chicken, right? Cast of Wonders relies on your donations to pay our authors and bring you the best in young adult audio fiction week after week. If you've enjoyed this story, please consider making a donation using the PayPal link on our site. Every one-time and monthly subscription helps, and you have our heartfelt thanks. You can share your appreciation for this story by leaving us a review on iTunes, sharing the episode with your friends and family, or discussing it on the EA forum, forum.escapeartists.net. We're at Cast of Wonders on Twitter. Come and say hello. Cast of Wonders is a production of Escape Artists Incorporated and is brought to you by the creative team of our editor and host Marguerite Kenner, assistant editors Danny Daly and Catherine Inskip, audio producer Jeremy Carter, and our slush team Olivia Denham, Sally Gill, Alexis Goebel, Andrew Kim, Ellery McAllister and Setsuo Zume. Our episodes are released under the Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 4.0 International License. That means that you can download it to any device you like or share it with a friend, but you can't change it or sell it. Our theme, Appeal to Heavens, is by Alexei Nov from musicalley.com. Thanks for listening.